viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. News, events and stories abound in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased and factual reportage is the driving principle for this program in order to bring government activities to the doorstep of the people. And now let's go through the highlights of today's reports. NMA, Nigerian Medical Association, arrests fake doctor in Rivers State. Government warns civil servants to keep off politics in Ondo State. The Federal Capital Territory Police mounts surveillance on suspected kidnappers' den. And in security matters, fire guards Abure's Abuja residence in an assassination attempt. We'll go for a very short break, and when we return, we'll head straight to the details. Do stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Glad to have you back. And now we head into the details for today. Rivers State Governor Sir Siminalayi Fubara has reaffirmed his administration's determination and dedication to bolstering the civil service to enhance growth and productivity within the state. Speaking to members of the Forum of Rivers State Government Teachers holding Doctor of Philosophy degrees during a peaceful appeal walk to the Government House in Port Harcourt, Governor Fubara assured that his government would address their concerns regarding proper placements and transfer to tertiary institutions. Represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Tami Danagogo, Governor Fubara emphasized his administration's comprehension of the challenges faced by the civil and public servants, citing his own background as a technocrat and former teacher. He assured the teachers that their plight was well understood and would be given proper attention. A political analyst, Churchill Wale, has called some PDP members in Rivers State, including Uche Secondus, Celestine Omehia, and others, as ungrateful persons to the FCT minister who had immensely contributed positively to their political success. Speaking on Atlantic Television Open Conversation, Churchill Wale expressed disappointment on the members and lambasted the PDP members for speaking ill of Nyesom Wike during a recent press conference in Port Harcourt.
I worked with Omehia.
Oh, I squeeze off Marakunte.
I would say he was my direct boss. If he were living, be watching me now, he would know. Wike gave him everything that he wouldn't have gotten as a former governor. Wike gave him things that, because the court law does not recognize him as a governor, but Wike reinstated him through the House of Assembly and gave him all his entitlements. It's very, very wrong when you come to bite a finger that fits you. Or when you have climbed a ladder and you want to push down the ladder that you used to climb, at a particular time it will backfire you. These are the people that, in one way or the other, have benefited from Wike. Let me tell you about Secondus. Secondus was not supposed to be a national chairman. Wike fought the fight for him to be a national chairman in PDP. What brought the issue was Wike.
On his part, Dumezor Samson stressed on the need for politicians across the country to concentrate on good governance.
Meshed in a political season. It appears we're having an all-time politics. Even when it's time for governance, we're still talking politics, as though there's a campaign and there's an election that is holding the next day. Everybody trying to undo each other, everybody trying to bring down the order just to be relevant. That's what's happening in the politics of Rivers State. And it's becoming very embarrassing because we've been on this trajectory for almost a decade. You remember that in 2014 into 15, when Nyesom Wike wanted to be the governor of Rivers State, we had a political crisis in this state. And that political crisis was sustained till he finished his government. Amechi was trying to undo him. He was trying to undo Amechi at the federal level until the expiration of that government. And now we now have him as the governor of Rivers State. We're still seeing the same pattern, the same thing that has kept us in this draconian state.
And on to other news, the Nigerian Medical Association in Rivers State said it has arrested one Echi Michael, who has been posing and practicing as a medical doctor in the state for 2 years. The NMA, in a statement signed by the State Secretary, Dr. Hope Avonda, in Port Harcourt on Saturday, said Michael, a graduate of Banking and Finance from the Cross River State University of Technology, was nabbed by its anti-quackery committee. Avonda said the suspect fraudulently applied for the NMA River State identity card with fake documents, including a fake MBBS certificate from the University of Port Harcourt in 2017 and a fake MDCN full registration certificate in 2023, which were found to be falsified. He added that Michael was arrested on Friday after a brief period of active surveillance when he appeared for an interview for the post of a medical officer at the Port Harcourt Military Hospital, a place he has paraded himself as a staff member during his application for the NMA ID card. Now there's more news, but don't forget you can still connect with us and watch us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, in Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Moving on, ahead of the governorship elections in Ondo State, the state government has issued a stern warning to civil servants in the state to steer clear of partisan politics. Speaking through the head of service, Bayo Philip, the state government urged them to strictly adhere to the tenets of public service by refraining from any form of electoral campaign or activity. Philip stated this during the commencement of the 2024 promotion exams for civil servants in the state. He stressed the need to maintain neutrality and professionalism amongst the workers in the state, urging them to focus on the duties and jobs they were employed to do as civil servants. I must also tell you, this is an election year. Do your job, and you are civil servants and have nothing to do with partisan politics. Engage your mind more than you engage your mouth, he said. Philip, however, disclosed that no fewer than 4,200 workers who are due for promotion will be promoted in the state. He maintained that Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa had approved the promotion of all deserving officers with attendant financial benefits. A female staff member of the University of Ilesha has died in a tragic accident which occurred along the Ilesha-Ibodi Road on Wednesday. Newsmen gathered that a container filled with cashew nuts fell off a truck and landed on the car the unidentified female staff of the university was driving. The accident, which occurred a few meters away from the main gate of the institution, led to panic among the passers-by, who quickly swung into action to rescue the victim. An eyewitness revealed that the victim had just concluded the day's work and was headed home when the tragic accident occurred. A senior staff member of the University of Ilesha, who craved anonymity while recounting the accident, said that the vehicle was driven by our colleague and was trapped under a container filled with cashew nuts being conveyed by a truck. She is feared dead. The accident also caused a significant traffic jam on the busy road, as the falling container and the vehicle involved blocked a part of the road, complicating rescue and recovery efforts. Meanwhile, Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has expressed sorrow and sadness over the tragic death of the unidentified University of Ilesha staff. Reacting to the incidents through a statement by his spokesperson, Olawale Rashid, Adeleke charged all relevant government agencies to follow up on the root cause of the accident and ensure that those responsible were brought to book. Governor Adeleke, who was briefed about the development, said authorities must find the owner of the said truck and the circumstances of the accident and the question of search and rescue after the accident. I have directed the Commissioner for Transportation to act on the matter, including an immediate visit to the scene of the accident. The University of Ilesha and the family of the deceased, as well as new regulations on the usage of the narrow roads by heavy-duty trucks. An analyst, Oduyemi Wealth, has lauded the move for a new retirement age by the Osun State government, adding that the move to extend the working age of civil servants, especially in the educational sector, will help to reposition the operations, delivery, as well as the educational status quo in the state. Speaking on Atlantic Television Society Watch, Wealth stated that the educational system had long suffered as a result of unsustainable policies and unrealistic remunerations.
Or a solution to cover the space and vacuum that sector, particularly the educational system in that state. The vacuum it has been subjected to over time, implying that the profession, particularly in that cadre, is not appealing to the younger generation. And then the stiffness of the system towards recruiting persons who probably have passion or who are desirous of picking up a career line in that space.
He further urged Osun State government to reconsider its conditions for benefit in extension scheme.
The procedure of benefiting from this extension clause put up by the governor centered on registering with the organ regulating, supervising, coordinating the activities of that profession. And then you, in certain spaces, you have some persons who have just, it dawned on them that suddenly they are now teaching. Not because they wanted to, and it was not also bettered out of passion, but it's because of to keep body and souls together. Otherwise, in the good old...
Recall that Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke had approved guidelines to enjoy the new retirement age. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority has warned motorists to maintain speed limits while driving on the long stretch of the newly renovated Third Mainland Bridge linking mainland and other parts of the state. The General Manager of the agency, Olalekan Bakare Oki, gave this warning on Wednesday while visiting and addressing officers of the agency whose purview falls within the Third Mainland Bridge operational areas. According to Oki, the comprehensively repaired bridge is scintillating and fascinating to drive on without any impediments, as this might be too tempting and risky not to observe speed limits, thereby resulting in untoward consequences for motorists. The government has installed state-of-the-art facilities that will aid motorists in navigating the entire bridge to their various destinations within a reasonable travel time. The general manager urged motorists to obey every traffic signs and other installed traffic-related electronic devices where necessary and keep to the approved speed limit. Motorists must be conscious of the time and plan their journey ahead to avoid unnecessary overspeeding while using the bridge and any other link roads across the state, he said. He assured the motoring public that the agency would deploy more men, patrol and recovery vehicles to ensure safety of motorists and timely rescue intervention on the bridge. The general manager, however, cautioned owners and drivers of vehicles to ensure that their vehicles are in good condition before plying the bridge, as the agency would frown at any avoidable obstacles capable of hindering vehicular movements on the flyover. Federal government is set to open the Third Mainland Bridge for traffic on the 4th of April 2024. Federal High Court in Lagos on Wednesday convicted and sentenced a 45-year-old businesswoman, Josephine Okpai, to 200 hours of community service for unlawful dealing in 1.3 kg of cannabis sativa. She also sentenced was a 44-year-old fashion designer, Wahid Olayiwola, who bagged 250 hours of community service for selling 145 kilograms of hard drugs. While pleading for leniency, Okpai told the court that she was introduced to the selling of drugs after the Nigerian Customs Service seized her frozen goods sometime in April 2023. Okpai, who is a mother of 6, told the court that she went into the business so that she could feed her children and also pay their school fees. She said that she had been in the custody of the NDLEA since February 23, 2024, when she was arrested. Justice Abimbola Awogboro sentenced Okpai after finding her guilty of the offense. The judge held that Okpai would have been sentenced to life imprisonment, but that because she was a first-time offender who didn't waste the time of the court, and her plea and that of her counsel, O Ojokovo or Jakovo, for leniency, the court will be lenient and therefore sentence her to 200 hours of community service. Kogi State Governor Ahmad Usman Ododo has launched a security initiative aimed at taming the upsurge in criminal activities in Lokoja, the state capital, and major towns in the state. A special advisor on media to the governor, Ismaila Asa, said the operation, codenamed Metropolitan Quick Response, is in partnership with the Rapid Response Squad of the Nigerian Police Force and the Joint Task Force of security agencies in the state. At the flag-off of the initiative at the government house in Lokoja, Governor Ododo restated that the commitment of his administration to deal decisively with the criminals in the state. The governor noted that the safety and security of lives and property of the people of Kogi State remains a top priority for the administration, stressing that nothing will be spared to ensure that the people of the state sleep with their 2 eyes closed. Today, we are flagging off the Metropolitan Quick Response to advance our efforts in the safety and security of our lives and properties in Lokoja Metropolis and beyond. The launch of the Metropolitan Quick Response Operation is in part of the evolving security measures to ensure that we have a safe environment and to build on the solid foundation of our security architecture in the state. As a government, we are resolute in our determination to flush out criminal elements in every nook and cranny of Kogi State. Nothing will be spared to guarantee safety and security in every inch of the state, and Kogi State will remain unsafe for criminal elements wherever they may be, Governor Ododo assured. The governor commended the gallantry and dedication of all security agencies in the state for their services and sacrifices in the line of duty, adding that the state government will continue to appreciate their efforts in keeping the state safe. Governor Ododo called on citizens of the state to be proactive and remain vigilant and to provide credible and timely information to security agencies in the state. The governor promised to continue to prioritize technological enablers to enhance capabilities in the intelligence gathering to combat emerging security threats in the state. The Kano State Film Censorship Board has instructed that movies depicting or endorsing cross-dressing and thuggery are not allowed in the state. The board executive secretary Abba El Mustafa disclosed this on yesterday during a meeting with the management and stakeholders from Kannywood. A statement by the board spokesperson Abdullahi Sani Suleiman said that the decision to prohibit these films was made in response to public concern about the potential promotion of criminal activities and inappropriate behaviors among young people. El Mustafa said, "It is high time to fish out any film that may demoralize our customs, norms, and values in the name of reaching popularity, viewers, or business making." This is coming when the Nigerian police force said that cross-dressing was not a crime under the Nigerian law. Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the police public relations officer, explained that controversial cross-dresser Idris Okuneye, popularly called and known as Bob Risky, and others like him can't be arrested. He, however, pointed out that cross-dressing lifestyle might not align with societal norms. He noted that the police were bound by the law and cannot arrest individuals based solely on their choice of clothing or lifestyle. About 10 people have been burned to death and properties worth 71 million naira destroyed in series of fire incidences in Kano State, in the northwest of Nigeria, in March 2024. This was disclosed by the Kano State Fire Service, which also said that it had saved 12 people and properties worth 130 million naira from 78 fire incidences. The public relations officer of the service, Alhaji Saminu Abdullahi, disclosed this to the press on Wednesday in Kano. The service responded to 27 rescue calls and 11 false alarms from residents of the state, he said. He advised the general public to handle the fire with care. An 80-year-old man identified as Adebola Ezekiel and his wife Abiodun Ezekiel have been found dead in their apartment at Apo area in the Federal Capital Territory after they were hacked by suspected assailants. Press gathered that the incident occurred on Monday at the Apo Legislative Quarters in the Apo area of the FCT at 10 p.m. Sources say that the aged man, who was on a wheelchair, and his wife had their throats slit by the assailants who used the dagger. Residents of the area who pleaded anonymity said one of the windows of the apartments was forced open and the remains of the deceased were after found in a pool of blood. One of the man's sons called someone in the area to help him check on his parents who had not been picking his calls. The door was locked, but when the person got there and the son ordered him to break the door to the house to find out what was happening. One of the windows was forced open and the remains of the deceased were found in a pool of blood, the source said. The FCT police spokesperson Josephine Ade, who confirmed the incident, said that the FCT Commissioner of Police, Binet Igwe, personally visited the crime scene. We confirmed the incident happened and the Commissioner of Police personally visited the crime scene. He directed the CID to commence a discreet investigation into the incidents immediately. The outcome will be communicated to you immediately, Ade said. She said, following a distress call by the estate manager of Zone D, First Gates, Apo Legislative Quarters to Apo Divisional Police Headquarters, that one Shehu Ezekiel called to report that his parents who reside in the estate are not responding to their calls, and with this permission, they brought down the window protector of the kitchen to gain access into the house. They discovered the bodies of Shehu's parents, Adebola Ezekiel and Abiodun Ezekiel, in the pool of their blood, with their throats slit by yet to be identified persons. You're watching Government and Public Service reports on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this very short break. Please stay tuned.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human
on the point of order.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human
on the point of order.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order,
Honorable
You are a human
On the point of
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their mind.
Glad to have you back on Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. And now to the rest of our stories. Federal Capital Territory Police Command in Abuja said Wednesday that it had mounted surveillance on a suspected kidnappers den in zones A and B of the Apo resettlement and its environments. The FCT Police Public Relations Officer Josephine Ade, who disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday, added that the operatives of the command combed the suspected kidnappers den and routes on the hills and in bush. Operation involved burning illegal structures and bushes surrounding the hills and the proactive deployment of police operatives for surveillance patrol as the entry and exit routes to the hills have been adequately manned. The FCT has been facing heightened security threats and attacks since late 2022 as the activities of kidnappers and bandits increased in the territory. The Nigerian army told the media to refrain from promoting the activities of terrorists, insurgents, and other deviant groups. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Abiodun Labaja, gave the advice during the Nigerian Army's civil-military media chat for the first quarter of 2024 in Asaba, Delta State on Wednesday. The event themed imperatives of military media partnership for the attainment of national security, condemned the actions of non-state actors aiming to undermine the security, welfare, and overall prosperity of the country. The Chief of Army Staff, who was represented by the General Officer Commanding 6th Division and Land Component Commander of the Joint Task Force South-South Operations Delta SAVE, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, said it is only through the collective efforts of all that we can collectively and effectively combat insecurity and restore peace to our country. According to him, non-state actors thrive on attention and exploitation to instill fear in law-abiding citizens. The Nigerian Army is aware of the complexities and difficulties presented by the current security landscapes in the nation. Consequently, the urgency to address security challenges has necessitated the re-strategizing and rejigging of the deployed troops to give the desired results, bearing in mind the uniqueness of the various theaters of operation. It is crucial to emphasize that the actions of non-state actors aiming to undermine the security, welfare, and overall prosperity of our country will be significantly diminished and most non-existent without the collaboration of certain unpatriotic and unscrupulous individuals within our society. It is in this regard the unprovoked killing of some of our troops carrying out their constitutional assignments in Ukwama community in Delta State comes to mind. The dastardly act was executed in the most barbaric and cruel manner, which is unacceptable and condemnable. The Army Chief said that there is need to reaffirm the commitments to strengthening the partnership between the Nigerian Army and the media. Let us recognize that in any increasing complex and interconnected world, our collective security depends on our ability to work together effectively and harmoniously. Together, let us harness the power of communication to promote peace, unity, and resilience in the face of adversity. There is a need to build a society where the military and the media are united in their commitment to safeguarding our nation and upholding the values that define us as Nigerians, he said. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, on Wednesday said that the traditional ruler of Ewu Urobo Kingdom in Delta State, His Royal Majesty Clement Ogenerukewe Ikolo Urukbe I, took the best decisions by turning himself in after being declared wanted by the military in connection with the killing of 17 soldiers in the Okwama community of Ugeli South local government area of Delta State. The Chief of Defense Staff advised the 7 other suspects declared wanted to take a cue from the monarch and equally turn themselves in. Musa spoke on Wednesday while featuring on a TV program. On March the 14th, 2024, the officers and soldiers of the 181 Amphibious Battalion were ambushed and killed by some hoodlums during a peacekeeping mission in the Okwama community. The 17 military personnel, including 4 officers and 13 soldiers, were murdered during the mission. Okwama and Okoloba communities have been embroiled in a lingering land dispute since 2023. Last week, the military declared 8 persons, including the monarch, wanted in connection with the killing. Also, a former director of Department of State Services, Mike Ejiofor, stated that the Nigerian Army was an interested party in the matter and adding that it should not be involved in investigating the incident. However, speaking on Wednesday, the CDS maintained that the military was legally deployed and authorized to make arrests and interrogate suspects. Musa said, "We are happy that the Commander-in-Chief has given us the mandate to recover the arms and arrest the perpetrators." A lot of comments have been made by different kinds of people, some from lack of understanding. When you have a joint task force involves members of the armed forces, that is the Army, Navy, and Air Force, and we have the police, the DSS, and every other security agency is part of it. So when we have arrests, we have a joint investigation team. It is not like the Army is taking the laws into their hands. Once we are deployed on operations, we have the right and mandate to arrest all acts of criminality within that area. They are legally deployed, and with their mandate, they are authorized to make arrests. They are authorized to interrogate because we have a joint interrogation center that works together as a team under the Joint Task Force. Musa described the killing of the 17 military men in Delta State community as a deliberate act by the criminals who were unhappy with the military's onslaught against oil theft and pipeline vandalism. He said the Okwama attack was premeditated just because they are a group of criminals, cultists, militants making a lot of money from crude oil theft. They believe they are above the law, and they did this deliberately. The Abuja residence of Julius Abure, the embattled national chairman of the Labour Party, was engulfed and gutted by fire early Wednesday morning in what the party described as an assassination attempt. Obiora Ifor, the national publicity secretary of the party, announced this in a statement on Wednesday evening. Quoting a family member, Ifor said Abure and his family members were trapped as the inferno had reached the staircase, making it impossible for them to escape. He added that Abure and members of his family were able to escape after neighbors and security men pulled down one of the windows upstairs, while firefighters later arrived to put out the fire. The Labour Party spokesperson added that Abure and members of his family are currently being treated at a private hospital in Abuja after they survived the fire incident. The Nigerian Educational Loan Fund on Wednesday said it will begin a pilot phase of the student loan scheme with applicants from public tertiary institutions. This includes students of federal and state universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. It also expects President Bola Tinubu to soon appoint a chairperson, a managing director, and 2 executive directors as part of its executive management team. The spokesperson for the fund, Mr. Nasiru Ayitogo, confirmed this to our correspondent on Wednesday, citing the provisions of the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, which Tinubu signed into law on the same day. Ayi Togo noted that the president was expected to launch the scheme after appointing qualified persons into the offices provided by the new law. The executive bill was titled A Bill for an Act to Repeal the Students' Loan Access to Higher Education Act 2023 and enact the Students' Loan Access to Higher Education Bill 2024 to establish the Nigerian Education Loan Fund as a body corporate to receive, manage and invest funds to provide loans to Nigerians for higher education, vocational training, and skills acquisition, and for related matters. It was signed in the presence of the leadership of the National Assembly, ministers, and major stakeholders in the educational sector. This is to ensure that no one, no matter how poor their background is excluded from quality education and the opportunity to build their future. Turning to those in the room, the president said, "We are here because we are all educated and we are helped. In the past, we have seen a lot of our children drop out of colleges and give up the opportunity. This is no more. The standard and the control is there for you to apply no matter who you are and as long as you are a Nigerian citizen." On June 12, 2023, Tinubu signed the Access to Higher Education Act 2023 into law to enable indigent students to access interest-free loans for their educational pursuits in any Nigerian tertiary institution. The move was in fulfillment of one of his campaign promises to liberalize funding of education. A member of the then presidential strategy team, Dele Alake, said. The act, popularly known as the Students' Loan Law, also established the Nigerian Educational Law Fund to process all loan requests, grants, disbursements, and recovery. Although the government initially announced that the scheme will be launched in September, it suffered several delays leading to an indefinite postponement in early March. The presidency had linked the delay to Tinubu's directive to expand the scheme to include loans for vocational skills. After receiving briefing from the NEL Fund team led by the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, on January the 22nd, the president had directed the fund to extend interest-free loans to Nigerian students interested in skill development programs. Tinubu based his decision on the need for the scheme to accommodate those who may not want to pursue a university education, noting that skill acquisition is as essential as obtaining undergraduate and graduate academic qualifications. This is not an exclusive program. It is catering to all our young people. Young Nigerians are gifted in different areas. This is not only for them who want to be doctors, lawyers, and accountants. It's also for those who aspire to use their skills and trained hands to build our nation. In accordance with this, I have entrusted the NEL Fund to explore all opportunities to inculcate skill development programs because not everybody wants to go through a full university education, he had said. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission says the new approved tariff is expected to reduce subsidies for the 2024 fiscal year by about 1.14 trillion naira. The vice chairman of the NERC, Musliu Oseni, said this in a statement in Abuja on Wednesday. Mr. Oseni said that the federal government had indicated a transition in policy direction towards introducing a more targeted subsidy regime aiming at mitigating the impact of changes in macroeconomic parameters while largely protecting vulnerable customers and fostering investments targeted at providing efficient service delivery in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. According to him, the Commission conducted a thorough review of the tariff applications submitted by 11 electricity distribution companies in line with the processes established in regulations and business rules. He said that the review process was preceded by an analysis of the performance improvement plans of the licensees and included a public hearing during which interested stakeholders and intervenors examined the rate filing submitted by the public utilities. The overarching objectives of the Commission in the consideration of the tariff application is the creation of a financially sustainable electricity marketing, providing adequate and reliable power supply to drive the Nigerian economy. The Commission, upon due consideration of the tariff applications, has approved the revised rates affecting only customers classified under Band A category, which is about 15% of the customer population, he said. Mr. Hussaini said that the empirical service data had confirmed that this class of customers had truly received the committed level of service. He said that under the revised tariff order issued by the NERC, DISCOs were under an obligation to provide customers classified under the Band A service category a minimum average supply of 20 hours a day, measured over 1 week. All other customers under Band B to E service category and representing 85% of the customer population will not be affected by the current review of end-user tariffs. All DISCOs have been provided with mandatory targets for investments and migration of more customers to Band A. The Commission has established a robust monitoring framework leveraging on technology to ensure that the public has visibility of the service covenants which their service providers. He said, Mr. Hussaini said that an enforcement and compensation mechanism has also been established in the event of service failure. We wish to assure all Nigerians that the Commission, working in collaboration with the policymakers, remains committed towards providing adequate and reliable electricity to all citizens. This is as we work diligently with the state governments to deliver on the gains of Electricity Act 2023, he said. And viewers, this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. I am Raymond Ken Mbata. Stay connected with us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and also watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.
So no agreement with the EU, but